Hey everyone, sorry about that. I think we're back. Everyone's back on now. I'm just going to basically pick up where I left off here. So the last question I was just asking there before everything crashed on us is if you guys are wondering how to interpret these changes to Google+, the big question that you want to be asking yourself is if your customers / policyholders are regular users of Google+, and if the answer to that is no, you should not be concerned about the change. And sorry, I'm just hearing some echoing feedback, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. Bear with me.
Sorry.
All right, there goes the feedback. So just to give you guys a quick overview here, just so you can kind of see where I was talking about with Facebook versus Google+. They tend to get compared a lot. And this was a post that State Farm actually did on Google+ and on Facebook on the same day. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that the post on Facebook had 252 likes, 130 shares, and 6 comments. When you look at the post on the right-hand side, this is the one that was done on Google+, and you'll see that the same post got 6 likes, 2 shares, and 0 comments. And if you're wondering why that is, it's just honestly, again, State Farm's customers are obviously not using Google+ nearly as much as they're using Facebook. So State Farm, by posting these 2 exact same things on the 2 different platforms, is getting quite a bit different engagement from each. One of the biggest questions I got, is, okay, so I used to be able to send customers a link to my Google+ page. It would be like plus.google.com/insurance agent XYZ. And you used to be able to send them there, and they could actually leave a review for you on Google, and they can no longer do that. So a lot of people are like, well, where do I send my customers? If I want to send them a link in an email to a review, how do I do that? So unfortunately, this part probably doesn't apply to most of you. You don't have review buttons on your websites, but a lot of our businesses used to have these buttons on their sites, and when you clicked on it, it would take them to Google+. And this doesn't work anymore because there is no option anymore on Google+ to leave a review. So action item, if you do have a website that has one of these buttons on it, you will definitely need to update the link. So there's 2 options as far as where you can send people. So any of you on this call, just want to clarify, feel free to just reach out to your sales rep. We can get you this link. You don't have to try and figure out how to do this. But this is how we would go about doing it. We go to Google Maps, and there is a share link that's there where we can share that link to people, and it'll send them to Google Maps. And you can see right there on the left-hand corner, Imprezio Marketing's page is 5-star average. It's got 36 reviews. There's a little blue write a review button at the bottom. So they can easily leave a review for you there. There's also a tool that will generate a link for you as well. I listed 2. Either way, again, if you're wanting a link that you can email out to your clients to leave you a review, just feel free to shoot us an email, and I'm sure we'll be able to get that for you. It's not as straightforward as it used to be, unfortunately. So a lot of people are also asking, is there any point? You see a lot of websites, they have those buttons linking to Google+, and check out Google+, and this and that. Is there any point to them? And my answer, again, is it depends. If your customers aren't on Google+, and your page doesn't really generate any comments or shares or ROI at all, then no, there's really no need to worry about getting a Google+ button on your website. The better option generally is to have a Google map on your site to show off your reviews. So this is how the new version of Imprezio Marketing site, which should be launching in the next week or so, we have an embed map that lists all our cool reviews and stuff. Again, with your for your websites that are templated, you may or may not be able to actually do this, but if you are able to edit your site, this is what we generally would recommend. A lot of people were asking about the reviews tab. There used to be a tab on Google+ called reviews when you went there. And a lot of people would think, okay, that's where I go to see the reviews that have been left. It's actually not the case. The reviews tab was actually a way that your business could leave another business a review. So I'll give an example. Imprezio Marketing obviously has other businesses that we do business with. So for example, we have a State Farm agent that we do insurance with, and he does our business insurance for our office. So we left him a review, as you can see in the screenshot on the bottom there, State Farm Danny Franchino. You'll see the review shows up as being left from Imprezio Marketing. There's also another review above it that says from Joy Hawkins, that's me. You'll see they're both there. So that is an option that still exists. you can still leave a review for another business as your business, not yourself. It's really kind of a neat underutilized trick as well. Not many people do this, and it's a good way to get your business a lot of extra exposure, because let's say there's a popular restaurant in town and you've eaten there and you love it there. You could leave a review for that business as yourself, and then anyone else that's going to be looking at their listing in the future will see your name. We found it's kind of a neat way to also give back to other businesses, and it encourages them to come and do the same thing to us. So for example, our security company was another one here. I was going to leave them a review as Imprezio Marketing because they do the security for our office. They handle our alarm system and everything. I need to actually publish a new guide on how to do this, which I'll be publishing in a few weeks once our new website is launched. So if you want instructions on how to do this, or you're interested in having even us help you leave reviews as your business, feel free to reach out to my email there, joy@impreziomarketing.com, or you can also reach out to your sales rep as well, and we can get you more information on how either you can start leaving these types of reviews or have us do it for you. Photos, this was something that kind of changed. Google has obviously different types of photos that they allow you to put on, and the interesting thing is that a lot of people, when they're trying to figure out what photo Google actually shows up when you search your business name, it's not always what you put as your default photo. So we had our cover photo as Imprezio Marketing just generically, but when we searched Imprezio Marketing on Google, you'll see it was still showing our Christmas picture, which we were like, oh shoot, this was in January. And it was kind of surprising because obviously that's not our cover photo. It's actually listed in Google as a team photo. Google doesn't often like logos, so I think a lot of times if the logo is what you're trying to get Google to show, it won't work. So that was the case here, and we were able to fix it, but just keep that in mind. Photos, we get this question a lot. Google does not always show the photo that you tell them to show, and we might have to work around it. As far as videos are concerned, Google was trying to integrate videos onto Google Plus for small businesses so that, if you had a YouTube video, for example, and I know a lot of Allstate agents that I've looked at have YouTube videos, and they even have them on their websites. And we used to be kind of neat because there was a YouTube tab that we could add the videos to. Unfortunately, it's gone. Google basically removed this back, and they even changed it in August so that in order to comment on YouTube, you don't even need a Google Plus profile. So they've completely separated the two products. And I guess the reason for that is that people look at videos and browse videos on YouTube. They don't really do it on Google Plus, so it makes no sense for the video to be there. So one of the places that people will see your videos is on Google search. So for example, that I've got up on this screenshot here, how to find duplicate Google Plus pages. It was a video tutorial I did a while ago, and you search that in Google and you can see the video, and it's pulling it from YouTube. So YouTube videos do show up really well in Google search for different things. Or they show up on YouTube if someone's searching directly on YouTube. And again, probably not much of an impact because people weren't going to Google Plus anyway and viewing videos from there. I think a few marketers and a few business owners may have been sad about this change because it's kind of nice to have the YouTube videos there. But in reality, if no one's viewing them on Google Plus, it really doesn't make a whole bit of difference. Posting is a big question. It's kind of funny because I've heard a lot of cases recently where people will call Google phone support and actually be told that their ranking is suffering because they're not posting on Google Plus, which always kind of makes me laugh because it's the farthest thing from the truth. Posting on Google Plus, contrary to what a lot of people might think, it does not help the ranking. It is not a ranking factor, and this quote by Phil Rozek, who is another one of the contributors to the Local Search Ranking Factors survey, says basically, it's really impossible for people to even see your posts on Google Plus unless they actually search your business name, or if they're on Google Plus and they see your posts show up in their feed, kind of like the news feed on Facebook. So again, unless your customers are actively on Google Plus all the time, the same way that they're on Facebook or Twitter, they're really not going to be seeing your posts, and no, it does not help your ranking. So again, if your customers aren't on Google Plus, there is really no point to worrying about posting. I think for some insurance companies, it's actually not even allowed to post on Google Plus. So I know in the past we'd had agents tell us they were wanting to fight that, but honestly, I wouldn't bother anymore. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Another thing that Google disconnected is they had a really cool AdWords features, which I don't think we really got the chance to do anything with for any of our customers because they just didn't have enough followers. But if you had a lot of followers on Google+, Google used to show it in your ads on Google, which is kind of cool. So you'll see in this example here, the laterooms.com, they had like 700,000 followers on Google+, and actually showed that in their ad. However, that feature has now been removed. And then also Google's Photos. Anyone that has a Google phone would know this. Google Photos used to be a part of Google+. Now its own app. And so Google's actually disconnected Photos now as well from Google+. This is a big one that I think probably a lot of you may not be aware of. Inside Google My Business, the dashboard, there's this nice little spot where it allows you to enter in your business description. So as you can see, our business description on Presio Marketing is like this nice long, we're an internet marketing company, we're dedicated to helping small businesses, yada, yada. Unfortunately, that description currently does not show up anywhere. So I know a lot of people have gone in when we first start working with them, and they have these really long, beautiful, well-written descriptions that it looks like they spent some time on, and my advice would be not to waste time on it because currently Google's not showing this anywhere. It used to show on Google+. It no longer does. It doesn't show on Google Maps, and it does not show up in the search results on Google. So essentially, it is literally impossible now to find. And also, just to throw out there, the description is not a ranking factor, or if it is, it's very little. If Google ranked businesses, depending on what their descriptions were, it'd be extremely, extremely easy for businesses to rank well with no effort, and the results that we get on Google wouldn't actually be worth paying attention to. So it's actually a good thing that Google doesn't do that. So this is an example of Google search. Our description is nowhere. So you'll see, like on the right-hand side, it's got our reviews, it's got our hours, it's got our phone number, everything else, but there's no description. And same thing on Google Maps. You've got photos, you've got reviews, you've got your business details, but there is no description field. So just kind of an FYI. And this is another place where you can see business details and it is not there either. So one thing you might be confused of, and I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but there are some bigger companies like Starbucks as an example, where Google's actually written a description for them. They're called Editorial Summaries. They're actually an employee at Google that goes and crafts a really well-written description for big, large chains or just really popular destinations. So, you know, if you're Gordon Ramsay and you have a restaurant in Vegas, you'll probably have one of these. So if your business is popular enough, Google will write a description for you that actually does show up on Google Maps, just like this one here. I don't think anyone that I've seen in insurance has one, but who knows, maybe they might in the future. So people often ask, you know, what is the future for Google+? Google+ is probably not something that you as a business owner are going to really need to know too much about in the future, to be quite honest, especially for those in the insurance vertical. Google+ is really focused on communities and collections. So communities are kind of like groups, like a Facebook group, and collections are kind of like a folder, if you could almost imagine having a folder of posts. So it's a way for you to categorize all your posts. And that's kind of what Google is focusing on. They have a really niche audience that uses Google+. I'm one of them, for the record. So I spend a lot of time on Google+ because it's a really popular place for people in the SEO community to hang out. So I meet a lot of other people that do what I do by hanging out on Google+. So it's definitely very great in that aspect. I'm part of a community called the Local Search Pros. That's a very exclusive community, so they're very careful on who they let in. And basically every post that, you know, is in there, it gets lots of interaction. People actually comment on things, and kind of like some forums. There's some forums that I've heard that are popular with insurance agents, and people post them a lot. Google+ communities are kind of like that. So if you find a community on Google+ for something that's related to an interest that you have, or, you know, maybe even like about the city that you're in, it might be a good idea to check it out. But that's honestly the biggest use I can think of right now for Google+. The communities that I'm in there, I learned a ton from and are very active, like tons of posts every day, but that's probably more because I'm in the marketing industry. So kind of in conclusion, should you bother with Google+, it is a great channel for finding other professionals. So if you're looking to network with other professionals, it can be a great way to do that because it's more of a business thing than I've found. Like Facebook is more of a, you know, people post pictures of their kids and what they had for breakfast, but Google Plus tends to be more people posting related to what they do for a living. It is a great way to display your expertise on a topic. So I post all the time on Google Plus when I do articles for Search Engine Land or Moz or some of the publications that I write for, and it's a really great way for me to get my name out there. So that's kind of what I use it for as a person, not as a business. And if you're interested at all in the marketing industry, it is definitely a good idea to be on Google Plus, because I found that is definitely the industry that seems to be on there the most. Anything to do with social media, Google, AdWords, content marketing, email marketing, any of that kind of stuff. I've gotten clients from posting on Google Plus, so I can honestly say that I've gotten business from being on there. And that's mainly because the other professionals and customers of mine are actually on Google Plus. So there's another article that I linked to here if you want to read more about where Google is headed with this, that you can check it out. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or your sales rep. And then I'm going to pass the mic over here to Chris so that he can continue.
Hey everybody, thank you, Joy. Give me just 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to put a different presentation up on the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about reviews. Now, this is a few of you agents may have heard this presentation from me in the past. I have done it in the past before. But it's definitely a very important thing for businesses to take seriously, that you definitely want to be out seeking reviews and getting reviews for your business. So we'll jump right in here. I wanted to start out with some facts. Just some facts about the insurance industry, sort of let you guys know a few things. This comes from the 2014 ComScore survey on the auto insurance industry. ComScore, for those of you that don't know, is a very large, very successful Google analytic company or internet analytic company, and they do many studies, one of which they do every year is on insurance. Now, 46% of consumers shop for auto insurance in the past year. Sure, we all know that, but 71% of those consumers obtained a quote online. And in 2014, that was up 4% from last year. That was a big jump. So
you're really breaking up.
For insurance online, and many of you may know that, which is why you are likely doing our marketing programs. But one of the quotes here that kind of stuck out to me from Susan over at ComScore, she put, as consumer shopping behavior changes over time and as internet usage on both desktop and mobile devices continues to grow, auto insurance companies must understand why, where, and how consumers are shopping for insurance. This becomes very crucial for agents to realize exactly how people are shopping for auto insurance. And one of the ways they do it here are purchasing through insurance agents is still the top overall way people search for insurance. One of the most common answers, though, is purchasing the convenience through other channels is what drives some consumers to purchase through other agents, the convenience of these other channels. 30% of the respondents also said they found it more convenient to use a toll-free number. So it's important for agents to realize that as people are shopping for insurance, it is possible that they end up to the Geico's and to the Progressives because of the ease of use of these other channels. Give me just 2 seconds, guys. I hear we have a bit of an audio breakup.
Hey, how are you? I feel like I can give you a hug.
Sorry about that, everybody. The audio is a bit scratchy there. I hope it's gotten better. So moving on here. All right. So one of the common myths I hear from a lot of agents is they feel they will get more traffic if they're in the #1 position online. But the fact actually comes, and this is from ComScore again, that only 11% of consumers actually select a business based on where they find them in the search results. And, you know, one of the #1 things in speaking with agents, they all want to get to that #1 spot. They all want to be #1. And definitely you need to be there to be considered. But consumers are actually using a different level of metrics and a different decision-making when they're looking at businesses. And here are a few that ComScore came out with are the top 3 reasons what consumers look for. First is location. So obviously they are looking for the best location for them in relation to their home at times. Just a reminder as well, everybody, make sure you have your phones muted. There's a bit of background noise going on. Second is the brand familiarity, their brand recognition. Many of you are, you know, with a company like State Farm or Allstate or Farmers, and you do have that brand recognition. So in reality, when it comes to these first 2, there's not much you can do to change these. The third, though, is reviews. So if we take out location and brand recognition, because you're not going to change these on a daily or yearly basis, your location is going to stay the same, and your brand is going to stay the same. So the other area that you can influence here is reviews. Now, when you're doing reviews and looking for reviews on Google, you're going to have to solicit. You're going to have to ask people to give you a review. And there are some rules you're going to need to follow when doing that. And one thing I want to point out is Google isn't really the biggest fan of businesses asking for reviews. The reason for that is they would prefer it to happen by the consumer's initiative. But the fact is, in the insurance industry especially, people aren't necessarily thinking about it. They're going on writing reviews of that little diner, that nice place they went for dinner. They're not necessarily writing about their insurance agents. They're forgetting to. So it's important that at an agency level, you guys are actively seeking reviews and asking your consumers to write reviews. Now, I get this question a lot, and this is a great study done by Bright Local here. And they do this every year, as you can see, since 2011. But the first question here is, do you read online consumer reviews to determine whether a local business is good? Is business good? And a steady rise there in yes, regularly as the answer. The thing I found interesting about this slide here is yes, occasionally actually went down. Now, when we see yes, regularly going up and no going down every single year, when we see yes, occasionally going down, you can assume that those people are actually going over into the yes, regularly area. So it's very important that people get reviews because people are using these to determine whether they trust a local business. Now, you know, who trusts these reviews? Are people actually trusting them, and then what do they need to actually trust it? The question here, do you trust online consumer reviews as much as a personal recommendation? We see a big jump, and you'll see in the 2014 data there for the answer, yes, if there were multiple reviews to read. So, you know, the big takeaway from this is not only do people want to see, if there are multiple, then they feel they can trust them more. So definitely it's important not just to get a couple reviews, but to get more reviews. And I always tell people your goal is to get to 15 to 20 reviews. Now, when we talk about this of how many reviews do you need here, they did this in 2013 and 14, and this is how many do you need to actually trust this business to find it believable? We see the biggest jump in the 7 to 10 range. So there's a big jump year after year in the 7 to 10 range. Still the most popular answer was 4 to 6, and we're seeing a big decrease in the 2 to 3 area year over year. So definitely 4 to 6 is the most popular answer given on this survey. But when we look at 7 and 10 and 11 and 20, they are moving up steadily. So you're going to find as years go on, more and more people want more and more reviews. which is why I always recommend to my agents the very first thing you start at is 15. Strive for 15. Get within that 11 to 20 range so that you're ahead of the curve and ahead of your competition. This is just a quick shot here of the search for State Farm Austin. Now, many of you have noticed that the 7-pack local results went to a 3. And when you click on them, you end up on a page here, and this is where people are going to end up interacting with your reviews the most. Excuse me, guys. You'll see there we have Ted 17 reviews are showing. Anybody can scroll down on this and actually see the reviews he has up there. So it's important that we, of course, are constantly getting these reviews, constantly getting as many as we can, so that when people do interact with this, they're seeing everything. Now, there are some rules and tips for getting reviews there, so I'm going to go over those rules with you guys now, because these are important for you and your staff as you go out asking people for reviews, that you follow these tips, because if you don't follow these tips, what you're going to end up being left with is a bunch of wasted effort, because the reviews you do get can get pulled. So the very first thing is if you're Imprezio employees, customers, you probably already have our review handout. We just created a new one, so our customer service team has been diligently sending those out to clients of ours. These review handouts give people step-by-step directions on how to, first, if they have a Google listing or a Gmail address, you do need a Gmail address to leave a review. So it starts with, do you have one or not? If you do, log into it. If not, they give you the steps to do that. As well, people can do it on their mobile phones. It is the Google Maps app that you will need in order to leave a review on the Google phone or on the phone app. So if you ever have somebody in your office that wants to leave you a review, that's the best way to do it. Now, never have a staff member write your review. They can edit that at any time. The other reason you don't want that is if I'm an agent and I have my receptionist write me a review and he's the one there greeting people as they come into the office, if they see that that person wrote the review and that was a review that that resonated with them, and then they find that person sitting at the desk in your office, it looks unprofessional. But the other part as well is this person can change it at any time. And if for any reason you had to cut business ties with them and it didn't end well, they can go on there and write just about anything they want. It does show the name there, so you can see the name is shown when this person, who the person was who left the review. So it's important that nobody that is going to interact with your customers leaves you a review. And nobody with your last name. Obviously, if Ted was looking for reviews, he wouldn't want somebody with the Heaton last name to leave him a review, because then it just looks unprofessional and looks like you're putting up fake reviews and can lead people to not trust them. Of course, friends and family that have insurance with you, by all means, you can ask them to leave you a review too, as long as they are customers of yours. But you make sure it's not people who share your same last name. As well, do not have reviews done in your office. Reviews that come from one IP address will be blocked. So just so everyone knows, if someone is in your office and they are connected to your Wi-Fi, a lot of agents offer their customers free Wi-Fi. They are connected to your internet connection. That is the same IP address. One review could be left from that IP address, but if Google sees multiple reviews coming from the same address, they're going to start blocking them. And this is where we'll find a day or two after they go up, those reviews start getting pulled. So if you have someone in your office that wants to leave you a review, the best way to do it on the Google Maps app, as I mentioned before, but make sure they're connected to their Wi-Fi network. Make sure they're not connected, make sure they're connected to their mobile network, not to your Wi-Fi network. Do not exceed more than 5 or 6 in a 30-day period. Reason for this is, again, it goes back to Google not loving when people solicit for reviews. So they would prefer if a business owner didn't actually ask people for reviews, but as we covered earlier, you have to. So typically I find you can ask about 20 people to give you a review, and you may find one or two do it. Normally, a 10% conversion ratio on asking to getting a review is standard. So you do have to ask more than 5 or 6 people in a month, but you have to monitor it and watch. And if you get 5 or 6 in that month, ask your team to scale it back and stop asking for reviews at that time, and then start up again next month. But try not to exceed more than 5 or 6 in a 30-day period, just so that you don't end up with wasted effort. As well, another reason to spread them out over time is right here. At any given time when people log in, they're going to be able to see when these reviews were left. And it's nice when we can see something like this where we have it 7 months ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. It's going to show the time. So it's nice when you have it ranging over the years and over the months and not just all of your reviews from 7 months ago. So it's always good to have a system going in your office where your staff are constantly asking people for reviews, sending the review handout to clients to ask them for reviews. Typically a great line to use is, if you're looking to spread the word about our agency online, you can take a few moments and leave us a review on Google. We'd really appreciate it. I've attached a document to this email with the steps on how to do that. And you can just attach the document we sent over to you to your email. The 5th rule here is respond to all reviews, especially the negative ones. As it can respond to the reviews. Now, the reviewer will not be notified that you responded. They would have to log in and look at this themselves later on. But the point to responding to the negative reviews especially is not necessarily to validate what this person has said. A lot of times we find that it was a misunderstanding, or the client just wasn't going to be happy with the decision that was made, especially in the insurance industry. That can be stressful. So they'll go on and write a scathing review that doesn't actually represent the type of service you provide. A lot of times I need to explain to agents, if you have a plethora of good reviews, a couple bad reviews is actually a good thing. It adds a level of believability to all the other reviews that you have on that page. So don't stress so much about the negative ones, but respond to them. We can always help our clients with that as well, but you want to take the argument offline, so to speak. So writing a nice response that says, I'm very sorry for the level of service you received at our office. This is not what the high standards we hold ourselves to. I'd like to personally ask you to call me at the office number so I can speak to you personally to see if we can resolve this. Something like that invites the reviewer to call in. Now, that person may not ever see that response, so they may not actually call in. But what it will do is give future people who are reading your reviews the opportunity to see that you don't accept this poor level of service and that you do want to resolve these situations. And hey, in the event that you do get the person to call in and speak to you, you may have the opportunity to resolve the situation with the reviewer, and that reviewer can also delete that review or edit it. I had a situation where I left a bad review for a place I was buying a car from. Within a couple days, they had contacted me. We worked it out. We were able to get a deal, and I went on and edited the review and went on and told about the good experiences that I had. So always ask the person, too, once you resolve the situation, hey, would you mind going on to there and deleting that review or editing it to explain that we've resolved the situation? It'll definitely go a long way for you there. The other part here as well is always have review handouts ready in your office. So what I typically recommend to our clients is this. Have a couple review handouts in each person's desk, or print out a few, maybe 5 or 6 copies of both the mobile and desktop and leave them in a communal place in the office. Somewhere where, as people in your office are servicing clients, they know this person is leaving and they're happy with the service. Maybe they're a longtime client and they just stopped in to say hi. Telling these people, hey, if you wouldn't mind, we're looking to get reviews on our business online. Here's a handout for you. If you have a few moments, take a moment and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. This will, as again, you're looking at about a 10% conversion in terms of people you ask, people doing it, sometimes even lower. But if you're constantly asking and constantly giving people the opportunity to go on and leave you a review, they are much more likely to do so. So have them ready in your office, printed out, ready to go. The other part is make sure everybody on your team has review handouts saved in a PDF document on their computer. Anytime they are emailing any client that you know is happy with your service, obviously not one that you're working out some sort of negativity, but you want to make sure these people have a review handout. Gmail users especially, guys, if you're sending an email to a client that has an @gmail.com email, those are the ones to send it to. As I mentioned earlier, you need a Gmail address to leave a review, and having a Gmail address makes it very, very easy. So anybody who has Gmail will get your email. They're logged into Gmail as they're reading it, and you can give them the instructions. They can go on and leave your review. It will literally take them about 2 minutes. So those are the ones to go after first and foremost. So again, guys, if you're a client of ours and for some reason you don't have our review handouts or you may have misplaced it, email your marketing consultant. Let them know that you would like a copy of that, and we'll resend it to you. Have those ready in the office. Never have a staff member leave your review. I know it seems like an easy way, but there's 2 reasons why you don't want to do that. One, they can edit it at any time. And secondly, it just looks poor if the person servicing them is the one that left them or left you guys a review. Do not have reviews done in your office. Again, only one ever done in the office on the internet connection. If you're going to have somebody leave you a review in your office, that's fine. Just make sure it's on their mobile phone and make sure their mobile phone is not connected to your Wi-Fi. Make sure they're on a cellular network. Just so you guys know, it's very simple. When you open up the Google Maps app, you just get them to search your name and who you work for, whether it be State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, whatever it is. That will typically bring up your Google Map listing, and then it's very simple from there. They just click on it, and there you can scroll down, and there's a box that pops up where they can pick their star rating and write their review. Do not exceed more than 5 or 6 reviews in a 30-day period, because any more than that will get blocked and taken down. Respond to all reviews, especially the negative ones. If you have a negative one on there and you want some help responding to those, email your marketing consultant, let them know. We'll help you formulate a response. Again, the key to that one is take the fight offline. Invite them to call you at the office, sort it out. And it may just be a matter of telling them there's nothing you can do for them, but at least you've attempted to resolve it, and future people reading that will see that you have invited this person to call you directly. And always have the review handouts ready in the office. So have a stack ready to be handed out to people in the office. Make sure everybody on your team has a copy of the PDF file on their computer, and then they can send out those emails as they come. So I apologize for the bit of technical difficulties we had today, guys. We did record this webinar. Hopefully the recording didn't take any hits there. We will be posting this to our YouTube channel so that anybody can go back in and watch it and listen to it at any time. We'll send out the link to all of you. I'm sure many of you will have questions. If you do, feel free to reach out to your marketing consultant. If you're not 100% sure who your contacts are here at Imprezio Marketing, you feel free to email myself. I'd be happy to direct you. My email is Chris W, so of course CHRISW @impreziomarketing.com. I thank you guys very much for your time and for attending our webinar, and have a great day. Bye-bye.